Alright. Alright, so who, what, and where? Who are you?
Jeremy Wuan. I don't know where.
You play in the band Reverend. So you play guitar and vocals. And what is Reverend?
Reverend is a psychedelic pimp creation, man. I don't know. We started in Detroit, basically in the legendary 1217 Griswold that is no more. And yeah, I don't know. Basically, we've been trying to slam it out, and now we're working towards new. You know, we got to find ourselves. We got kicked out of home. We're lost, but we're not really that lost because we're trying to put out that gangsta LP.
What's this LP gonna be? You know the title of it or anything?
We don't have a title. Okay. We were like at one point thinking like, man, we're gonna put out this chakra album. We're gonna like create each song to be like, you know, a tone that represents each chakra, and we're like, whoa, we got all these other tunes, you know. So we're gonna do something, you know. It's gonna be probably like the next step of where we've been going. We have a 7-inch Future Weed, and we still play those songs currently live. So some of the new stuff is really demonic and like chaotic and heavy, and then some of it's like poppy and garagey and like jangly. So it's pretty much all over the board, you know. Right
on. So for the people who haven't heard, you know, Future Weed, what would you say Reverend sounds like? What's your guys' kind of, you know, your niche?
Basically like careless, heavy psychedelic rock. I don't know. It's hard to like pigeonhole where we're trying to go because we're all coming from so many different places. Like our bass player's like, "Wow, I just want to be like so heavy," you know, and then like, you know, Tyler, our drummer, is just like a shred master by my standards. So I mean, like he's always just doing whatever, and I don't know where I'm coming from. So, but I would say, you know, it's kind of like it's some people like some of our older stuff might have a bit of a classic tone, but then yet be like sounding like, you know, maybe like just like a, you know, a band that might not even have found themselves yet because, you know, we're still youthful, we're still just shredding and trying to put all that into a song, so.
Yeah, I was really excited the first time I saw you guys play. I played some show at Trumbullplex, I think, and you guys played.
Oh, yeah.
And I was kind of, to be perfectly honest, at this like super depressed point where like the music scene was in Detroit, and I was like, there's nobody really putting out good music. And it was all like this rock and roll, you know, like post White Stripes, you know, Electric Six kind of bullshit all over the place. And like, you guys came on stage and played this show, which, you know, for the most part was a bunch of like, you know, just hippie dudes fucking playing folk music and stuff. And then you were like shredding like crazy, and I was like, holy shit, awesome, finally, you know. And it was like, you guys definitely regained my hope in the Detroit scene when I first moved back here. But yeah, dude, that's I would definitely say you guys have all the elements of mature musicians who can fucking do stuff that musicians love, and people who don't even know about music can still like, you know, kick it and like dig on for sure.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, we want to like keep an accessible sound, but yet there are times where like we were so angry with like being evicted out of the place that a band was formed and like it was my home and all this kind of thing. Our sound had gotten really like heavy and like kind of just like harsh, but then we think about it and we're trying to make the accessible songs as well, because that was the thing, like when we formed Reverend, it was out of a fallout of an old band, and we were in Detroit. We were like kind of conscious of what was going on, and we were like, well, let's make like a heavy band, but maybe, I don't know, try to direct it in a new direction or something. So it's kind of cool to see where we are now, because it's kind of like we formed it out of nothing. Like we really didn't know where we were going with it.
So, with Future Weed, I remember that they're, like obviously with a title like that, it's gonna have some awesome shit behind it. What was like the idea behind that? And like, didn't you guys give out like wrapping papers and stuff?
Yeah. Well, we were like, alright, we gotta do vinyl, let's do a little 7-inch, and we recorded it with Jim Diamond at Ghetto Recorders, which is amazing because he is like the whole analog setup. And you know, as we were recording, I think we had the title like going into it somehow. Like we were all just like, writing music and stuff, getting ready for it, and we're just like, future weed, man. I don't know, and that became the title. My friend Johnny, who runs a little label called Sleep Tapes, who he's put out a couple vinyls now. He's actually putting out a comp with Reverend, my solo stuff, and a couple other sweet, like, all the bands are sweet on there, but I'm also doing drums in a band down there. He put it out, and kind of like, I threw the title Future Weed at him, and we were kind of talking it over, and it was, I think, inspired by the Cheech and Chong record, because there was like a huge rolling paper in there, so we're like, we're doing the 7-inch, we'll do like a 12-inch rolling paper. And it's funny because, like, you know, when we play, sometimes I'll randomly say something trying to sell the 7 inches, you know, about the rolling paper, and people will be yelling out, like, you know, they still got theirs, or they've already burned mine out, man. Yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned earlier about the whole Grizzle loft and what went on with that, and I know that we did a post on it for our Vile blog, like back in February when it all went down. But, you know, for the people that didn't really know, like, you know, what basically went down with that?
Well, I was lucky enough to live in basically a magical place from August of 2009 until February of 2014. You know, we got to the point where we were doing shows comfortably, living, you know, we had it all set up. And I always knew, man, I was living like right downtown Detroit. Like, it just didn't seem like a place where like you could just have a 2,500 square foot loft affordably. And so I always knew that someday someone would buy us out, and we got bought by Bedrock, and they gave us 30 days notice, and our last day there was February 28th, and it was a crazy last month. There was some good times that were had, and there's also a lot of wild times where like everyone was moving all of their stuff down these stairs, and like after there was the last party, we were on 24-hour like security surveillance, so like we're just lugging all this stuff out, just like, why? And they're like they're watching us, filming us and stuff. Yeah. But you know, it's kind of a good thing, like in one way, like now all the artists from that building are living elsewhere. I do miss coming home and like looking up and just seeing like colorful people like everywhere, and if I ever got bored, I could just go up or down and be hanging out with so many different types of peeps. But now they're still in the city, you know, they're still doing their work, and there's definitely a bright future for Detroit. So
right on. Yeah, I remember going over there, and it'd be like, you guys were on one level, the Destro dudes were on another level, and like Chris and everyone were on another level, and there was dudes upstairs fucking rollerblading and skateboarding and shit on these ramps, and like, it was fucking awesome. It was just like, everyone there was doing exactly what they wanted to do.
Yeah, that was the thing.
So good. Alright, well, it's 2014, Reverend. What are we looking forward to this year?
Well, I mean, shortly here we're going to be playing the Blowout for the first time. We're excited for that. And after that, we're trying to take time off, you know, performing for a little bit. You might see us playing if like some cool peeps roll through town and beg me to set up a show. But, you know, I gotta always help out in that way. But we're trying to definitely like put the finishing touches on the material that we have and record this full length. We have like certain people in mind that we want to work with for the actual recording and everything, so I think it should start rolling pretty smoothly, and you know, we'll be definitely hopefully playing like as much of the festivals that we can this summer in the city, and you know, it's gonna be sweet.
Awesome. So in closing and stuff like that, whatever, how do you feel about the Detroit scene and like Detroit cats, whatever? Like, what would you say like to people who aren't Detroit kids and what they would expect in the music scene?
Well, Detroit is like a place where you can do anything, you know, and there are a lot of bands here for how small of a place it is, and a lot of people might not think that, or I don't know why you would think that, but I don't know, I actually like it. A lot of people that live here kind of like, you know, they're like, oh man, you know, I'm not really into like the Detroit thing, and then there's people that are like all about it. I say stay all about it, and like, you know, come here and like freak out and do like the craziest thing that you can imagine, and the chances are people are gonna like embrace you, and that's like, I'm lucky to be in Detroit because I can just do whatever I want to do and it's gonna be embraced, and like I can continue to do that, and that's all that really matters, I guess.
Alright, dude, awesome.